with all the new snow at our mountain resorts, you may be headed up to hit the slope.
But winter activities can lead to some serious injuries. Next, an expert will join us with what you need to know to stay safe while skiing, snowboarding, and even ice skating.
Hey guys, welcome back. You know, when winter hits, a lot of people like to go skiing, snowboarding, maybe ice skating, but those can also be very dangerous in the winter unless you prepare.
Yeah, there's a lot of common sports injuries when you're out there on the slopes or in the rink or whatever. And joining us is orthopedic surgeon Dr. Erin Nance with some tips on how to prevent these injuries, and they can be some nasty ones. Why so many injuries in winter sports?
So with winter sports, we're talking about sports that have very high velocity falls. So you think of ice skating, skiing. If you fall and injure your head, you could have a concussion. If you fall onto your arm, you could have a broken wrist. And I'm sure everyone has heard of someone who's torn their ACL while skiing.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
right. Or run into a tree. All right, so let's talk about the cold weather. A lot of people have been dipping in water. They're saying cold is good for you, but you're saying kind of the opposite.
So when you're doing sports which involve a lot of quick, like stretching motions, you want those muscles to be warmed up. Because if you think of your muscles like a rubber band, if you take a cold rubber band and you stretch it really quickly, it will snap. So you have to gradually warm up the muscle. And that's why I recommend that everyone do something called dynamic stretching, which is stretching while moving. And so Claire will demonstrate here what dynamic stretching is. And that's simply stretching while you're on the move. So she's doing some lunges, she's doing some twists that will help kind of open up the back and prevent you from pulling a hamstring or from pulling your back out.
Yes.
All right, let's get into some particular sports. Snowboarding, really popular. What are the common injuries?
So first of all, with snowboarding, everyone has to wear a helmet. I don't care how old you are or what your skill level is. Helmets help prevent head injuries, so everyone must wear a helmet when they're on the slopes. The second is snowboarders. When they fall, they tend to fall on their butts, and they also put their hands out backwards to help them, cushion their fall.
Right.
But the problem is that, especially for beginners, we've done studies that show that beginners are 4 times less likely to sustain a wrist injury if you wear a wrist guard. So that's why I recommend that all beginners wear wrist guards on both sides.
I was rollerblading over Thanksgiving and thank goodness had these on because I could have really hurt myself. You feel a little dorky with the helmet and the guards and everything, but it is a lifesaver for sure. Let's talk about skiing.
So skiing, I'm a hand surgeon, so I see a lot of injuries to the thumb. And there's a specific injury called skier's thumb. And what happens is that the ligament at the base of the thumb is torn. And that happens when you're losing control and you stretch your arm out this to brace your fall. So did you know that there's a right way to fall?
No.
So it's something called the tuck and roll. And that's what we'll have Clara demonstrate here. When you're falling, you want to tuck your arm inside, and then as you're falling down, you're going to roll onto your upper extremity and let the upper extremity bear the brunt of that force.
What do you do with the ski poles?
So ski poles, a lot of people will have them attached. Same thing, you tuck them inside to your body. That's where we see that injury, the skier's thumb, because people hold on to the poles and it stretches out that ligament right here.
It seems like that would affect the collarbone though, are you just taking a chance?
So you don't get something for nothing,
Right.
but this part of your body is much better at absorbing that force than the really small bones and ligaments of your hand.
All right, let's talk about ice skating. Tough on the ankles, I know that.
So with ice skating, injury prevention starts with having the proper equipment. And ice skating is all about the ice skates. So you want to have the skates tied really tight around your foot and around your ankle. And for that reason, I recommend that parents help their children tighten up those laces as tight as possible. This will help create a stable base for their balance when they're skating and also prevent tibial fractures from twisting within the boot.
What about a helmet when you're ice skating? 'Cause that's very dangerous when you fall backwards.
100%, again, I recommend certainly for all children and even adults. We want to prevent concussions. Those are injuries that can have permanent, lifelong effects, and so you want to prevent those injuries.
All right, well, thanks for the tips. We appreciate it.
Thank you, you're welcome so much.
All right, for more information on these winter sports injuries and how to prevent them, you can go to Dr. Nance's website. You can also follow her on Instagram as well as TikTok.